Okay, Friday night, 9 o'clock. What are you doing watching this? Hopefully, you're watching it on Saturday. I, on the other hand, will be at a hockey game. I'm going to the Bruins Capitals game in Boston. Um, Sitting, fortunately, in a corporate suite. Got some nice tickets tomorrow, so that is where I will be. So I thought I would do the Weekend Trader, the first edition anyway, via video and on a Friday night. So. Um, Lots to talk about. I am fired up a little bit for the first time, I think, in a couple of months. And it's really weird because if you've been following the blog, you know that I hadn't planned on going to New York, and at the last minute, I decided to do so at some expense. And it was an interesting week. I want to talk a little bit more about that. I want to talk a little bit about the CTA numbers that have just come out for '08. But let's start with New York a little bit. I got my bag of goodies here. Okay, I've got my free copy of one of the magazines. I think it's Stocks and Commodities. Yeah, there we go. Got this. Let's see. Got oh goodness, look at this. Look at this. We got some nice, huge advertising things. I'm surprised it even fit in my bag on the way back. Um, and all sorts of goodies here. Got one here, kind of looks like the National Enquirer just a little bit. Pretty big. $3.98 value, a complimentary issue. I feel blessed. Um, what else? I had made fun of something like this some time ago because I didn't think it existed. Well, it exists. Trading for dummies. In this case, currency trading for dummies. So I guess all we need is one of these. Of course, here's the back copy of the program where they published the Svithjog Rock blog piece that I referenced a little while ago. I'm kind of having some fun with this in a way. I feel schizophrenic about the expo because on the one hand, as I said in my post over the weekend, I think that they did a great job. The people putting it on, it's a wonderful event, and as Tim Borkwin aptly stated last week, it is a great place for traders to get together and for people that I mentioned one of my comment responses. I think that there's some fairly tight knit circles in terms of brokers and some of us that have been doing this for a while. And it was nice. It was nice to be around friends. And there was some good stuff there. On the other hand, it's an expo, so you're going to get lots of tools. You're going to get, as I mentioned in one of my posts, lots of Ferraris when maybe you only need a Chevy. And that's all fine. I've got a lot of respect for this industry, and it was a good event. Spent some money there, so. But again, nice job. I'll try not to poke too much fun at it because I don't know. Maybe I'll go to the next one too and hide in the weeds. Okay, so New York aside, I want to. It's interesting because I've talked a lot about these CTA performance numbers. Not to say look at geez, I beat them and that kind of thing. Please, because that's not always going to happen. But it's interesting because what I did is here's. This is the excerpt from the March '09 edition, which summarizes the '08 top CTAs. And then I also just printed the '07 top CTAs from the March '08 issue. And I did this once before a few months ago when I was looking at '06 versus '07. But '07 versus '08, the number of CTAs in the top 10, and we'll look at funds under $10 million. So they've got the top 10 here for 2007. The number of, well, guess how many companies in the top 10 of '07 repeated in the top 10 of '08? Just guess. I'll give you a second or two, right? Jeopardy. And unless I'm really missing something, the answer is zero. Zero. The top CTA returns in '07 ranged from 49.73% to 205%. And after 205, by the way, the next highest was 88. The '08 range was 74% to 171%, which I mentioned the 171 in my blog, with zero repeats, which I found incredibly interesting. And again, I think I'm reading this right. If you go to the funds over 10 million, it looks like 2 did repeat. Okay, so that's 2 out of 20 in total, or 0 out of 10 for funds under 10 million. So I guess what this goes to show is that, well, I don't know what it shows. My conclusion, I guess, which is something I've always believed in, is it's darn tough to repeat year after year. I guess you've got some strategies that may work really great in one environment and not in another. Maybe you've got some fund manager turnover. I'm not even gonna hazard a guess at really what causes that. But looking at that got me thinking, and most of you know that I will take any piece of motivational a tool or even if it's imagined to try to get myself primed for trading. And I'm looking at a couple of things this week. First of all, I'm seeing that very few funds do well in consecutive years. And I thought back on my own goals for this year, and I think a while ago I mentioned that I was going to go into it with a 1.2 million goal, and I'm actually thinking about scaling that back for a couple of reasons, down to $1 million, because first of all, it seemed to work real well last year, and I don't know, maybe I'll keep it at 1.2. I need a target out there to shoot for, and it's going to be one of the two. But my main goal this year, frankly, is what I would call is to repeat personally. And again, it's not to say look what Don's doing versus these funds. It's to say what can I shoot for this year to keep myself equally focused, equally motivated? Because obviously I've had a hard time with that the first couple of months this year. I really feel like I've been sleepwalking. I don't care about the probability or the percentage profitable. I have not been focused. I have not had that drive so far this year that I had throughout last year until this week. And I don't know what's happened this week. I think that the expo might have fired me up a little bit. I was also dealing before I got a spam filter I mentioned today, and which is great now because I only get the comments I feel are appropriate. But before I had that in place, I had to deal with a couple of spammers who I have to thank for this week's performance, because anytime someone questions or attacks my credibility, like some sports teams, I will use that to my advantage. As I've always said, I am an open book. My records have always been open to those that I've worked with. And since this blog went live, every letter, word, sentence is 100% auditable, and it'll always be that way. And as you know by now, you see me buck naked at times, as you did on February 10th, the day that I will never forget this year. But any time that someone dares to question why I'm doing this, or whether it's real or what might have happened in the past, it fires me up. And I think that in part got me significantly motivated this week. Plus, I don't have to deal with those anymore, so it's really good. Anyway, again, I think, well, I know for me this business is a mental sport. I've said it many times. If you're doing this, again, I don't coach on this site, but I sure hope that you're finding ways to motivate yourself. I don't care how crazy it is. You see the picture of Kevin Garnett in today's post. If you see him live in a game, he screams. It's like a primal scream before every game. It's kind of silly, and yeah, this is trading. This is not a physical sport, but I will go to my grave knowing that it's a mental sport. And I just a couple of comments on, again, how I've been fired up this week. We're going to keep doing this. I'm enjoying it. It's helping my trading. The feedback in general has been pretty good. Been largely positive. And again, I'm gonna read this, I think, before I go to bed tonight and see what it'll do for me. So kind of having some fun tonight. Enjoy the weekend. I'll do a text post probably either late Saturday or on Sunday, and we'll let this stand in the meantime. So 10 minutes is almost up already. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you in text over the weekend or on Monday. Take care.